That night, one warm, wet July night, the sound of two distant gunshots echoed through the cramped neighborhood of Naya Basti. Soon, the familiar buzz of the 10 p.m. shift alarm of Cranes India Limited submerged the sounds of the rain and sporadic thunder. Besides signaling the shift rotation at the Cranes India factory, the alarm served an unofficial purpose for this Kolkata hamlet. It indicated the start of an hour-long power cut, which topped up the neighborhood's daily quota of 5 hours without power supply. For Siddhartha and his mother, the alarm was a trigger to stop everything else and wait with bated breath over the light of a kerosene lamp for his father to return from work. The relief was profound when they heard that knock on their door. A series of light, evenly spaced taps, one tap every second. Tap, tap, tap. That night too, Siddharth dashed towards the door, excited to answer the knock and welcome his father home. His mother was right behind him, lamp in her hand. The knock came later than usual. In their enthusiasm and the noise of the rain, they did not realize that it sounded a bit different. Siddharth did not see his father when he opened the door. Rather, there were several scary muddled figures with their fuzzy faces and black umbrellas. The power cut had plunged the neighborhood into darkness. There was but a flicker that was dispersed by a distant single bulb lamppost. The flicker and the intermittent flashes of lightning helped Siddharth see through the downpour. He could make out the murky form of a van that stood at the junction a few tens of meters from the doorstep of the single-room rented house. One of the figures, a tall, squint-eyed man with a balding pate, stood near the doorstep. He leaned over to his mother and brought his face close to her ear. "Shanti Di." "Ashu." Her voice trembled. Siddharth's heart was in his mouth. The lamp had just enough light for him to see his mother's curious eyes and parted lips. He hung onto her arm. She stood rigid and pale. What happened? There was a deafening silence for a few seconds. Ashu lowered his eyes. His lips quivered. "Shanti Di. They killed him." His dark, uneven eyes and wet, shiny head reflected the light of the lamp. He howled. The others joined, shouting, crying, and sloganeering. The commotion, combined with the clamor of the rain spattering on their asbestos roof, made for an uneasy, cacophonous mix. Within minutes, the area was thronged by a sea of noisy, prying individuals. Siddharth was aghast. His mother stood stunned. Agape, they watched their father's body wrapped in a white shroud being taken out from the van. It was escorted by a couple of policemen. The pallbearers moved closer to their home. Siddharth watched his father's lifeless head tilted to one side, oscillating through the checkered interplay of torchlight and shadows. The men splashed through the puddles along the way and placed the body on the floor. He touched his father one last time. The body was inert and cold. Through the wet, diaphanous sheets and dressing, he could make out two reddish spots on his father's chest. Befuddled, He looked at his mother, his large, moist eyes full of questions. Ma, his voice cracked. His mother hugged him tight. Be strong, Siddharth. He could feel the wetness of her tears fall on his back. She gave way to them when her eyes met his. She rested his head on her shoulder and closed her eyes. She had to live for him. Somehow. How? She did not have an answer to that.